I can do one. Let me share. So um, I built an API that we can use for Skim, which is user provisioning. I've actually demoed Skim before. I did Spike on it a few months ago, but now it's actually fully tested and actually supports real API keys. So we can go into settings, generate a new API key, give it a name, generate it, get my API key. I'm only going to be able to see this once. I close that, go over to Okta, pull open my Omni application, go to provisioning, which is how you configure Skim, go in here, and I'm using ngrok to expose my local development publicly, so that's why you see that. So I'm going to put the API key into here, hit test, pray that this works. Cool. All right, so it works. Now I can, so if we go back over to Omni, can check out my users list. Just, a couple standard users here. I can go assign new users. So I've got this SAML test user. Cool. So, of course. Click provision user. Okay, cool. I'll provision the user. Cool. Hey, there they are. All right, so they got provisioned. And then I can similarly go in here, if I remove them, go back over to Omni, they disappeared. So this currently supports user creation and deletion. I'm going to get it out and working in that state, which is pretty close. Just need to get some code review and some UI help. And then we'll add user attribute setting and group assignment right after that. So Skim is pretty close to being done. But the other thing that this affords us the ability to do is use an API for other things. So if I go in here and create a new API key called CI/CD, I can copy this. I can go over to my terminal here. Of course, ideally, you probably do this through GitHub. I can hit the API endpoint called model refresh. And if I put in the right API key, because that's an old one, the refresh runs. So that's the only other API endpoint I built so far, but just to give you a taste of kind of what's possible here. There is some funky authentication stuff in terms of like how the backend authenticates the API key that I need to work through. So this API endpoint is a little bit duct taped together still, but I don't think it will be a tremendous effort to get that working in the way we want it to work. So probably just an extra couple days. So I think we're really close to having an interesting story for like a CI/CD type use case.
Very nice.
If anyone's passionate about APIs, I would love to show you how the API key stuff is working. I went through a bit of research to land on the approach I took, so would be happy to share that with anybody who's interested.